I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie. In this podcast, we talk about the joys of motherhood as well as the experiences that have altered us along the way.
We've created a safe space to talk about the hard and unconventional alongside the beauty, and we want you to feel confident in the decisions that you make as a mother.
Welcome to the Motherhood Collective Co.
Let's talk. Welcome to the Motherhood Collective Co. That's actually what I'm talking about today. Was going to be
So perfect.
fall traditions.
Oh, fun.
So look at that. You're just like right on the same wavelength.
That's so perfect.
We're always on the same wavelength. Anyways, before we get into that, let's I don't know, catch up.
Yeah. I feel like I was telling Chase, I'm like, I feel very heavy and I almost feel like I wasn't going to cancel recording because I'm not going to do that to you. I'm like really trying to specifically with you because I know it means a lot to you to just like follow through on things. But I feel so heavy about the hurricane situation. And I've been like, I was just like kind of downloading it to Chase a little bit about like, Sunny just took a shower before we went to dinner and I'm like blow drying her hair. And I just had this horrible thought of like, I'm just like getting my daughter ready for bed right now. And I'm going to like go out to dinner with my husband. Yeah. And there's people who are like going to bed tonight and putting their children in life vests and writing their names in Sharpies all over their bodies and air tagging their animals. And I just feel like I'm going to start crying about it again. I've been crying all day about it. I'm just like, I just cannot imagine. Like I read this story about this family that like they were trying to get out of the state and they ran out of gas. And they're like pulled over on the side of the road because I don't know if you've seen any of the videos. Like the highways are just
very much avoid the news.
The highways,
anything on Instagram about it.
The highways are just like, you know, they're standstill. Like everybody's trying to leave. Yeah. And so there's people driving in the shoulders and there's people running out of gas because all the gas stations are empty because everyone's trying to leave at the same time and everyone's stocking up on everything, you know? Mm-hmm. And there's this family who like they ran out of gas on the side of the road and they wrote out a sign just begging people to somebody to take their kids further than they were able to, like to the point of passing them off and being like, can somebody help my kids? And I don't know. And then just like watching people like hug their horses goodbye. And like, I don't know. It's just like, sorry, I'm not trying to like make it all so emotional, but I've just been like really stressed today. I feel like I just feel for those people so much. And I just can't imagine having to choose like, you know, do I stay here and try to protect my home and my animals? Or do I like try to get out of here with my kids? Do I like, you know, and then I feel like there's like the native Floridians who are like, well, we've been there, done that. We've seen all the hurricanes. We're probably going to be fine. But then by the time they realize like, wow, this is actually like bigger and worse than most storms we've ever seen, it's too late to get out of there. Mm-hmm. So anyways, I'm just really feeling that today. Yeah. And, I feel like that's what's been like consuming my mind.
Well, if you are in Florida or you're in South Carolina who just kind of got hit.
Yeah, I think it was North Carolina, but yeah.
We just like, I'm sorry. And we're praying for you and,
you know,
it's really hard and we can't imagine the position you're in because that's awful and sad. I do also feel like, so I was just, who was I talking to the other day? I think I was talking to Susan or maybe it was my mom and they were asking me, and it was regarding politics. Oh no, it was Danny. I was getting my lashes done and it was regarding politics. She asked me if I had watched, I don't know, whatever debate happened. And I
like
said,
the presidential debate?
Yeah. Vice presidents or whatever. And I said, no, you know, when I was in my 20s, I was very up to date on what was happening in the world and in what was happening in our government. But as I'm like mothering little kids, I feel like I have to shut it out because I am also very empathetic and I can only control what happens in the four walls of my home. So I am very picky about what enters into the four walls of my home. And I can't be derailed, right? When I'm homeschooling my kid or whatever, I can't get distracted because like he needs me there 5 days a week to do that. Yeah. So like I haven't, and it's awful. Brady comes and he'll come and tell me like he's got clients that he's working with in Florida that just boarded up their practice, and you know we've said multiple prayers for them over the last couple of days, and he'll tell me other things that are going on, and it is hard. But I don't know, if you're somebody who's like Jesse, I feel like it is also okay to just focus on what's happening with your family.
Yeah. I know. I feel like, yeah.
But also, like, if there is something you can do to help. Like, I know Equip Protein right now, every bag of protein you buy, they're like donating all proceeds to buy grass-fed beef for families being affected by Helene? And
millet?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that can also give some pieces to find some way to support the people.
Yeah, I feel like they're like, I don't know. I think there is a time and a place to be like, okay, I'm not gonna listen to this, or I'm like, we don't watch the news.
Yeah,
in
presidential
our home,
debates
but
not happening in my house.
And in our home, like, it is important to watch the presidential debate. So I feel like it's kind of like whatever you think is but like, I don't know. I also feel like the Lord gave me like a heart of empathy to feel for other people, even if I don't like. Even if all it does is bring me to my knees and be able to pray. And like Chase and I were processing at dinner, like what we could do. And I'm sure there's so many things being birthed of like how people are willing to help. And Chase even thought, like, we have free flights. I have a chainsaw. Like, I could fly down there and help people like get to their homes and, get trees off of their homes, and just trying to like come together. Cause like, I don't know, if all that we do is like turn a blind eye, then I also feel like a disservice,
Yeah, no, and that's specifically I was talking to Danny about the presidential election, because I have about that. But
that's hard too, because it's like, do we even get a say over who gets elected? I don't know,
because last time Trump was in office, he was I don't know. I'm not getting into that. Let's not get into that. But
no, we don't need to talk about that. But I do think it's important to like, I don't know. I like. And I'm totally the person that like for the most part is, not really engaging with that stuff. But I do feel like there's just like, I don't know, there's something from like a mother's heart to a mother's heart, like seeing, them put their babies to bed in life vests, and just like, I'm just like feeling so heartbroken for them and so heavy for them. And that has brought me to be able to pray for them. And I don't know what I can do to help, but at least I can like, whether I'm shedding tears or shedding light or just like aching for them, at least they're not feeling that to some extent alone. I don't know, like, but yeah, it's just like really heavy and hard today. I don't know. And just like, knowing that's just going to like hit in the middle of the night, and knowing that also our government's doing nothing to help them. Like,
it's just like the fires in Maui. Yeah. They each got a $750 check until the money ran out, and then got
nothing. We're shoveling like millions of dollars to foreign nations, and our own nation is like 3 different states are completely up in flames right now. Yeah. I mean, there's still people recovering from the hurricane 2 weeks ago. There's another one that's happening right after Milton, and it's just like these people are running out of gas on the side of the road, and our government is not assisting in evacuations. They're making them mandatory, but they're not helping them get out of there. Like, I just have such an issue with that. Like, I honestly, all I'll say about the upcoming election is I wish that it was mandatory to force people to actually be educated on both sides before making a vote, and not just voting against somebody. Think about the grandiose United States of America as a whole, the value of life, and like the characteristics and the values that you want instilled and maintained in our country. Vote that way. That's all I'm going to say.
Are you watching Love is Blind right now? It's related. I promise.
I haven't. I know you said there's a new season out. I haven't gotten to watch it.
So season 7 is out, and it was very bizarre.
I'm still watching this first show you told me.
Oh, nobody.
The podcast one. Yeah. Because I feel like I don't really get that much time to like, without Sunny around, to watch shows, but
Brady
that's the one I'm watching right now.
That one's really cute. Now, Love is Blind. Brady and I love Love is Blind. We started watching Married at First Sight.
I was going to start watching that the other night. Anyways, I need to keep reminding myself that's out there, because I want to watch it.
We started watching Married at First Sight long ago when we lived with Susan, and then Love is Blind came on, and it's kind of like a similar concept, and it's so much fun. But they went on, it was the most bizarre thing, because somebody edited this and said, yes, this is something that needs to be on the show. A like 4 or 5 minute rant, which on TV is like a really long time, about a president. About a specific president.
Trump.
And it was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen for a show meant for mindless entertainment.
Very interesting.
To like basically just put your agenda out there, because I'm sure there's been because politics has to be something, because they talked about this season has been kind of fun, because it's like they're showing you a lot of the process. The dating episodes is like 4, 5, 6 episodes. It's like a lot of and they're like really actually showing you the process. And every day they walk in and they've got like a topic that they're supposed to discuss. So politics is a topic that everybody's supposed to discuss. And in 7 seasons, they've never done that.
That's really interesting.
And now in 2024, months before the election, they allowed this insanely biased rant onto worldwide television.
Love that.
Which I thought was so
blasted to like the millennial Gen Z generations, who are like the primary, I feel like, swing votes.
Yeah.
Because boomers are already set in their ways, and who's right above us? Gen Y.
Gen X.
Is it Gen X? Gen Z is below us. You're right.
Yeah.
They're already set in their ways. They know who they're voting for, but I feel like, we're just like little paper bags in the wind. We're like, oh, I heard something bad about that person. I should just vote the opposite of that person.
Yeah.
But we're not actually voting for the candidate. We're just voting against another candidate.
Have you gotten your big blue booklet yet for the state election? That we got our big blue booklet, and
you check the mail.
Something that here's my problem with like watching TikToks and Instagram about politics is that in a generation that is so influenced by everything they see on the internet, to take something as serious as who runs our country and put it in the hands of, this influencer told me facts. I use in quotation if you're listening to the podcast and not watching YouTube. Swift. Yes. Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
We don't vote for people because of things made up on a reel or a TikTok. Like literally can be just made up. Like fact checkers have entire jobs for like the debates on fact checking who's telling, like that's not happening on the internet. So like read the blue booklet. I mean, in our state, it's blue. Maybe it's different color, but in our state it's blue. And it's something that Brady and I read through, and that is where we get our information.
I just wish people could make more of an educated decision based on like actually reading through non-biased, like renderings of what they're voting for.
Yeah. You're not getting that from any major news stations. You're not getting that from anybody on Instagram and TikTok.
I'd be curious if there's anyone even like that still watches the news that's in our generation.
I know, it's very, Brady and I, it was funny.
To pay for that.
Does your TV just have like channels?
No.
Okay, we have a LG TV and it has LG channel. It's like a guide. It looks like cable. There's like Nickelodeon on there, and like
we have LG as well.
Do you? No, yours is a Samsung. Yours is a Samsung. Yeah. And you actually do have it because my TV has the Samsung channel. My Samsung.
Where do you get
Samsung remote refrigerator?
What in the world?
Has like a whole. It looks like cable. Anyways, and it's wild.
So like I could be watching Survivor on there instead
not like CBS, like major news channels, but like I don't know. Anyways, we were just laughing because like no, this is what cable is now. It's not cable, but we also have so many freaking subscriptions.
That reminds me, I just upgraded my Hulu package because there's a new season of Survivor that just came out.
Prime, it's on Paramount.
Only to realize that it's not on
Hulu anymore.
Paramount sucks. Can I just say that?
We have Paramount Plus through Amazon because that's where all of Noah's good shows that he likes are that I like.
How do you have it through Amazon?
You can do any subscription through Amazon Prime.
Okay. But don't you think just like the dynamics, like I don't even know what word I'm trying to use, like the technological side of Paramount Plus just like really sucks?
Well, I just have it on Amazon. So it's like it's just Amazon's interface, but everything available on Amazon Plus is free to me on Amazon.
It's free.
Well, free to me on Amazon because I pay for Paramount. I'll show you. I can show you.
It's only like $7, right?
Yeah, it's not expensive.
But
that's
Hulu,
where Survivor is.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only reason I have Hulu. Like Survivor is my favorite show in the whole world. We have Hulu for American Idol. If I only ever had to or got to watch one show for the rest of my life, like it would always be Survivor.
This season of Survivor is I don't know.
Are you already caught up to it?
Oh yeah. Brady and I are also very big Survivor. I'd never watched a season of Survivor in my life until I married into this family and they had Survivor watch parties. Yeah. Like the whole family together. And so it's like
one of my favorite parts of my childhood. Yeah. We would make Ghirardelli like Costco brownies and we would watch Survivor every Wednesday night. And I always knew like even if I had basketball or whatever, like we would, they'd wait and we'd watch it together. And so anywho.
But I don't know where we were going with all of that.
I don't know. I think just like a random rant of like, I feel like our country is hurting. I want people to care and beyond just like your personal offenses.
Yeah.
And it feels helpless sometimes, and that's heartbreaking. And yeah.
I also think that, I don't know, the signs and times are just bringing us closer and closer to the coming of Christ. And that is like a comfort to me. Well, a comfort to me when I watch like suffering is that to have like an eternal perspective instead of a mortal perspective. Like all of the suffering in this world is so awful, but what will it be when we get to the other side, when we look back at the suffering of this world? Do you know what I mean? Is it going to seem like, I don't know, this little blip in our eternity that, not that it didn't matter, but maybe it was like, I don't know how to say it where it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't sound belittling, but that does give me comfort, because it's not just hurricanes happening right now. It's like literal, like turmoil all over our planet. And if you like have to let all of that in, which is where I was going with my point earlier, not that you shouldn't let things in where you can help. Like we can help people that are in our country that are being affected by a natural disaster. One of my friends who lives in Maui, when the Maui fires happened, started collecting money on Venmo. She collected tens of thousands of dollars and hired private jets to bring food and like supplies bought with the money that we donated to her at Costco. Like, you know, they were on the news. It was like this big thing. So like, me saying like have an eternal perspective isn't to be like these people hurting on the other side of the country don't matter, because that's not what I'm saying at all. We should be helping them. And if you find an opportunity, if you have a Venmo account that you're like, you are collecting money to help people, or you know of a charity that is like doing it, let us know, because we can definitely like blast that on our Instagram page. But when it comes to like worldwide turmoil, and if you are somebody who often feels like I am overwhelmed by the amount of hurt and suffering that goes on in this world, I will just tell you, like, breathe and have that eternal perspective of this little blip of mortality is not our eternity. And the way we live here on earth is not how we're going to spend.
And but it is for some of these people. I think that's what's hard. It's like that we don't know, like, I don't know. I'm like thinking about the story in the Bible about Lazarus and how like Jesus came and Lazarus had been dead for like a really long time, and Jesus knew, like, I'm gonna raise this dude from the dead. He's gonna be just fine. Like kind of like what you're saying right now is like he knew, he has that perspective of like he's gonna be okay. But then he still sat and like wept with his sisters first. And I always just like think about that, because I think it's so interesting. I'm like, why did you do that? He could, like, I feel like he could have just come in and been like, no, like, we don't need to be sad. This is all gonna be okay. But like he still like let his heart break for a moment. And I still think that that's like, I don't know what the full meaning of that was, but I do know that I feel like he has implemented part of that in me. Cause I feel like sometimes it's like, I don't really know what's ahead, but I know that I can like mourn with those who are mourning. Yes. And I just don't know if like, and maybe there's power just in that notion, or maybe it like drives me or someone else to something greater. But I don't know. I just feel like the spiritual atmosphere of all of that just feels like, I don't know.
I think also we're here on earth in mortal bodies to learn. Like we're here for a reason. We're not just here on accident. We're not here just because God thought it would be a fun trip. Like we're here to learn something, and we're going to take what we learn to the other side. And I think compassion, how do you learn compassion in a Garden of Eden? How do you learn compassion in heaven in the presence of Jesus Christ and God? Like, how do you learn it when there's no suffering? So, and I don't know if that's the purpose of why we're here, is to learn compassion, but I think that has to be an aspect of it, is to learn and understand. And just like empathy and
the
compassion.
Need we have for like a savior, like clearly like our country's on fire. It's getting destroyed. Like this world is broken. It's like we need a savior, and that's where we can like turn our gaze and our hope upon. And you know, try to like, while we're here, still hold hands and like remain like human, you know, where I don't know. It's a lot. And then it also brings me to a place of gratitude. I'm like, thank God that I'm not putting my kid to bed in a life vest tonight. You know, like it gives you perspective of like,
100%.
I can be grateful tonight for this reason.
Yeah.
But anyways, we can move on to lighter things. I just felt the need to be honest about that because I feel like that's just where my head's been all day, and that's just been a lot. So
was that your topic, or do you have another topic?
I actually didn't think of a topic, but then when I was like, Chase and I just went out to dinner for the first time ever since having Ledger. It's almost been, he's almost one. So I was kind of going to talk a little bit about that, like driving over here. I was like, if you would have asked me a month ago to do that, I would have said no.
Yeah.
You know, 2 months ago, absolutely not. Maybe even a week ago, no. But I think what's really cool about this, and I think you and I have both like kind of hinted on this before and like touched on it, is that like you'll know when you're ready for the next step, like of any phase of babyhood, toddlerhood. We've been talking about like Lily transferring to her own bed maybe, but I just think like, you know, when you're ready, even if it's like still a little bit of like a leap of faith.
Yeah, it's still kind of scary.
It's just kind of cool to see like, I don't know, how you can like grow. And I really feel like the Lord kind of gives you like the peace when like he's going to be ready or she's going to be ready, whatever that looks like, of like, okay, go out to dinner, or like, okay, you know, like she can go sleep by herself for a little while, or like, I don't know. Cause I think that's something that we just like really overthink as parents, and we try to sometimes force before we feel ready, or we just like do it because we think we'll never actually feel ready. But I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about like what that feels like, and like that peace that comes, and how I just think it's like, I don't know, really gratifying to just wait until then and not do that before you are ready. Because tonight ended up being really great. And, you know, Chase and I got to go talk for the first time without kids around in like so long. And then we come home and he's in a great mood and he did a really good job. And I don't know.
I'm chewing, so I'm like, sorry, I'm not participating. I like decided it was a good idea to put caramel in my mouth.
Yeah, that's fine. But I just feel like it's like one of those things where somebody can't really make that decision for you.
I know. That's why like the timelines are so obsolete. Like, oh, your baby should be in their own bed by, I don't know, what do pediatricians say? They should never be in your bed. Never. They say.
They should be in your room. I think actually now they recommend up to a year.
But the American Pediatric Association states that like if you want to reduce the risk of SIDS, your baby should be in your room for a year.
Interesting.
It is. But like, or like they should start solids at a specific age. They should be walking at a specific age. They should be doing whatever it is. It's not always going to happen. Your baby's not always going to hit the mark. And that's okay. Your kids won't ever always hit the mark on things. Like your big kids, like they might not read by a certain age. They might, because like everybody's just so different. So I don't know if you need permission to like take the pressure off of the timeline that, I don't know, society has told you that you and your children should be following. Like there it is. You don't need to follow.
Or even if it's just like going on a date, it's like, maybe that's something that like somebody's putting a lot of pressure on you, but you know, if I do that right now, I'm not going to enjoy myself. I'm not going to be present. I'm not, you know, like,
and it doesn't mean that your marriage is suffering.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like there's just, and we've talked about so many other things that you can do besides go out to dinner with your husband. But yeah, I will say when you get to that point and you feel like, and it wasn't even like I sought this out. My mom was just like, hey, I'm free. Do you want me to come over and like you can go out on a date? And I was like, sure. And then it wasn't even until she was at our house where I was like, oh, wait, like she was like, you could leave Ledger. And I was like, oh, wait, I didn't even think about that. Like, sure. I felt totally fine with it. So I don't know. Whereas like normally it would have just been like, no, it's fine. We'll take him, you know? Yeah. And part of it too is like he's so beyond the phase of being able to bring him along with us. But
yeah, it starts getting tricky. Yeah. They can't follow directions. And we just went out to eat because on Wednesdays we go out to eat because we're doing things. Noah has sports. So we always go out to eat on Wednesdays. It's kind of like our little tradition. And Lily, I see other kids when I go out to eat and they're kind of just, they're sitting in their seat.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I never see
They're
that.
like sitting in their seat. Well, one of the kids I was looking at today was watching Miss Rachel, which whatever. But Lily is in her seat, out of her seat, on the table, under the table. They were playing the Dirty Dancing soundtrack, which is a great soundtrack. And Lily I taught her how to like twirl into me. So I was holding her hand and I was just sitting there eating dinner with my left hand, like dropping it all over the floor. And she's like twirling in and out, twirling in and out, twirling in and out, saying hi to all the people. Like it's just like everywhere. And by the end of it, like there was one point where I was like, okay, I'm feeling really like overstimulated right now. And then I don't know, I like said a quick little prayer. Like whenever I'm feeling like that, I try to just say a quick little prayer like, God, please lend me some of your grace. Just that's literally all I say. And usually it actually works every single time. And this time I was not disappointed. I was just like, this peace washed over me. And I'm like, I'm actually having fun. Like she is 16 months right now. This is like the height of toddlerhood.
Don't you think it has everything to do with like almost releasing what you think other people are thinking of you? Like, I don't even like, I think sometimes when I'm feeling really overwhelmed, I check in with myself and it has nothing to do with my kid and what they're doing or how they're acting, because that's how they act and do all day long at my home. It's being in public and worrying that someone else has a different expectation of my kids than I do and is projecting that or is getting irritated or even like Chase, even though like I know that he doesn't like, he cares less than I do. He's the one half the time reminding me like they're kids, you know. But I just, you know, you have those like I don't know, you like worry that somebody else around is bothered or something. But I feel like when you can just be like, oh no, they're just being kids and like
it's fine.
We're just together as a family and they're not hurting anything.
And your kids are allowed to take space. Excuse me. They are allowed to take up space. Kids are an integral part of our society. Like they are the next generation. They are the next generation of leaders, the next generation that's controlling the votes to the next. They're just it. They're it. They're very important. They're allowed to be out in public.
Like hidden and hushed away like for everybody else's convenience. Like, and I also have that thought all the time. Like when we're like in the checkout line and, you know, it's like hard for them to wait in a line. Like, honestly, same. I hate waiting in a line. But also when I'm like, you know, they're getting squirmish and I'm getting like eyes, you know what I always think about? I'm like, you were also once a child.
Yeah, doing the same
You were
stuff.
also once sucking your mom's boob and dependent on everything. And how dare you look upon anybody else as if they're like less than because you've forgotten. You were once like this. I don't know. There's something like very humane about reminding yourself that everyone was once like just helpless and in diapers. But we always go out to lunch right after church. And this last time we went out to lunch, Ledger was like standing on the booth and he was pulling every single napkin out of the napkin dispenser, like one at a time. And the first like 8 of them, I just kept like crumbling them up. And I'm like, we'll use these for our meal. But then like there was nothing else for him to do. We had brought like a couple little carbs for him, but he just didn't care. He wanted the napkin dispenser. And after a while, Chase was like, why do you care if he's doing that? And I was like, I don't know. I just like, are they going to get mad at us? He's like pulling all the napkins out. That's usually my problem is like, I'm scared that wherever I'm at, the people are going to be mad at me. Like whatever that means. Silly.
Like, that's so goofy. Although I will say, wouldn't it be nice every once in a while to just be a dad? Brady, okay, so this is how the order went. We get there. Noah has just gotten done with his sports activity. He's starving and he's very loud about how starving he is. And so I, order us edamame, and then Noah is eating the edamame, still saying he's hungry. Lily is taking the chopstick and flicking the edamame onto the floor. She thinks that's hilarious. So I'm just letting her do that. The kids' food gets brought out first, which I don't think I like that when restaurants do it, because what happens is that the kids get to eat, right? So the time that they're actually occupied, Brady and I don't have anything to do. And then when our food comes, they're done. And they are done. So here I am, my food's here, and I got like steak and rice. So I'm like trying to get a little bit of steak, a little bit of rice onto my bowl or onto my fork. And I'm also breastfeeding Lily, and her feet are kicking my fork out of my hand every 5 seconds. There's literally food all over the floor. Noah's done. So he's just over here standing here in between me and the high chair that Lily's not sitting in. And he's just like playing with my hair and talking to me in my ear. And here comes this giant plate of sushi just sitting down right in front of Brady. And while I am getting my food kicked out of my hand and my hair played with, he's just eating his sushi with chopsticks. And dipping it in his little sauce and putting his little like what? And I just had kind of I thought like, that must be different. That's real different.
That is so funny. Also, I didn't know you guys like sushi.
I tolerate sushi if it doesn't have fish on top of it. If it's got like tempura or cooked shrimp, I'll eat it. Brady is a sushi connoisseur.
We've never been on a sushi date, I don't think.
I'll go. Brady's a sushi connoisseur, like a sushi snob, where he's like,
I would eat sushi every night of my life if I could.
But Brady and his dad would go to, they like get sushi, and he like knows all of, like, he was tonight, and here's one of these things that Brady does. He just tells me things that I don't really care about. He's like, so do you want to know the proper etiquette for ordering sushi? And I'm like, yeah, tell me. I've got this happening, so you might as well just tell me.
Wait, so what is it?
He says you always order sushi from the bar, and you never pick your own roll. You ask the chef what their favorite, should you order, because when you ask them what's your best thing you have right now, they're going to give you the best cuts of fish. They're going to try to impress you, and then they give you all of the best stuff. And then you're actually not supposed to dip it in any kind of soy sauce or teriyaki. You're supposed to eat it with the fish touching your palate first. And I don't know, there's a lot of rules with sushi apparently, like in Japanese culture. Yeah. So
that's so interesting.
Yeah. But I got that lesson while my nipple was being sucked in and my hair was being played with. And I'm trying to eat. My food's getting kicked out.
You're like, I'm just trying to get my basic needs met right now. Save the etiquette. That's so funny.
It's 31 minutes right now. We could go into what I was going to talk about, or we could save it for next time.
Yeah, I mean, we could just come like better. I could come better prepared, and we could just... Okay, but you know this about me at this point, probably. Like, if something's on my mind, it's like almost impossible for me to think about anything else.
Yeah.
So.
See, and that's how Brady is. And let me just tell you, when Brady's like stressed out about something, and we've been having a lot of conversations about this lately, because if you are an entrepreneur, like Q4 is in our midst, and that is typically stressful for entrepreneurs, unless you're like a Christmas tree farm or something. You know what I mean? And you're super pumped about Q4.
Like an essential worker.
Yes. Q4 is typically like a time of, I don't know, it doesn't have to be a
Christmas tree farm.
I mean, who else is super excited about Christmas?
But
toy
also,
makers.
How much fun would that be?
That would be so fun.
Toy makers. Okay, I'm sorry. Unless you work at the North Pole.
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
Elf making toys.
You're an elf.
Q4 is probably a little stressful for you. Q4 is upon us, and it is a little bit stressful. So we've been having lots of conversations, because Brady, when he gets onto something, he can't stop thinking about it. It's like all he wants to talk about, and he can't sleep. Like he's like awake all night long. And I had to ask him, like, why can't you, because I honestly can't understand, because I've never had that problem. Why can't you just tell your brain to stop thinking about it and just go to bed? I'm very good at avoidance. I think avoidance is.
You just messaged me the other night, said you're up from 2 till like 5 a.m.
Okay, but also I
worried about something with me
in my back.
Okay.
I also had pain. I was uncomfortable, and that's not like a norm. That is not a norm. I can literally.
Like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm so sorry.
I am somebody who can just say, oh, we're not thinking about that anymore. Shift this way.
That's impressive.
And then I think about whatever else that makes me happy. And I feel like that has gotten me very far in life. It has also made things very hard for me in life, because like
that's also a trauma response.
I don't want to study for that test, that I'm just going to pretend like it's not there until it's tomorrow morning, and now I have to pull it all-nighter. You know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of my life. But I don't know how I got caught up on that. I just don't. We've been having lots of conversations about that. Like, you really can't stop thinking about it? I don't get it.
Yeah, that is my brain for sure.
Like,
it's exhausting. It's
that
frustrating.
Would be really exhausting.
But I do feel like the more I process it with my close people, the more I can release it. Like, usually if I can have a conversation with you and Chase and maybe like my mom or my sister, I'm like good to go.
Yeah.
Which is why I like sometimes I might just like tell you something randomly. Like I'm even thinking at the park this morning, I said something like so random, and later I was like, oh, that was just me trying to like get it out of my system. Like I just need to process something with a couple people and then I'm good.
Yeah.
But if I like leave it in my brain, I mean, I will erupt into just a whirlwind of emotions.
Yeah, no, I don't have that. But
or again, I'll just spiral into like,
I sometimes will do an internal spiral. If I don't like, if there's something bothering me and like it just keeps, I'll like put it on my mind, but then if it just keeps kind of nagging, I have to just spit it out. Or if I don't spit it out, then I'm just kind of, I guess I kind of get that a little bit, but not with work or tests or anything that probably really matters.
I like die at how like similar we are in certain ways and how different we are in certain ways. Yeah. It's great. Keeps things so interesting around here. That is so funny to me. Chase is actually kind of like you like that.
Yeah. I call it optimism.
He does too. He doesn't like, so I'm like, you know that the Inside Out movie? So Chase watched it the other day and he was really into it. Like the kids were not even in the room and he was like still watching it.
It's a good one.
And he was like, Jess, you kind of remind me of sadness. And I was like, oh, I don't really like that.
I would be joy.
and he was like, no, it's not even a bad thing. It's like, you're just so compassionate. You don't even know what to do with it. Like you're so empathetic. And I was like, well, thank you for that. And then he was like, yeah, I just like, I don't know. I just like can't stop thinking. I wonder which one of those controls are like going up on my brain. Like, I think I like that you resemble sadness so much because that's just like not something that's not on my operation panel of my brain. Yeah. It's like they're just overdrive of like, no, don't feel that way. Everything is still great because of like all these different things. And he's like telling me all these ways that he would like avoid sadness and how he genuinely does somehow. Yeah. Like everything has a bright side. Everything has a silver lining.
Did he grow up? Oh, no, I want to ask you that question right now, but that's interesting. I think because I have like maybe a mom who was depressed a lot. I think that sadness was not something I allowed myself to feel, probably because I was like overcompensating for her sadness with my little sister. And like, how can we turn this around? But I'm the solution giver. Like, and it's the exact same thing. Like if you are having a problem, come to me and I'm going to spill out 10 different ways we can come up with a solution for that. And that is literally just my brain avoiding the pain. Like, here's all the different things we can do to make Chase does.
He's so funny because he also like, for me, a productive conversation is any conversation where like someone feels heard and understood. Yeah. And for him, it's like only like just now when we were at dinner and I was like literally crying about the hurricane and we're like, not the whole time, but like halfway through dinner, he's like, Jess, I really like, I don't want to walk away from this. And you just feel like sad. Yeah. And I was like, I don't feel like I just walk away from this thinking this was like not a good dinner. And he's like, are you sure? You've just been like so sad about like the hurricane. And I was like, Chase, you have to rewire like your brain to think like it just because it's sad doesn't mean it's also not good. Yeah. Like anytime I get to connect with you and share my heart with you is a good thing. And he's like, okay, that makes sense, you know?
So when you listen back to this episode, I want you to see all the ways I was trying to problem solve for you. Because that's literally all I just did.
About what?
About you feeling sad. I was like, okay, well then you just need to get off TikTok. Okay, well you need to protect the things that are going on through your home. Okay, let's find out.
Maybe that's why I love you and Chase so much. You guys are like both so similar. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's like, it's just a personality thing. Cause I'm like totally okay sitting in tension. I'm okay with having hard conversations. I'm okay with being sad. I'm okay. Like I love when friends bring things up to me if they like want to process something or something's bothering them. Like I always feel so honored. And I don't know what that is about me, but it's always made Chase so uncomfortable. And now he's getting to the point where he like really like sees the value in it. But he also, I'm like so grateful for him because he brings me up for air. Because like I can just like dwell and be like my empathy can just like eat me alive sometimes. And then he can like bring me back up for air. So don't sell yourself short. Like those are good qualities to have, you know, especially for people like me. But
I mean, I've ever since college, it was the joke that I was the mom of my friend group because I'm the one that you come to when you have a problem because I will fix it for you.
See, I actually feel that way as well. I feel like I'm that person in a lot of areas of my life as well, but I feel like it's, I don't know.
It's in a different way, maybe.
Maybe in a different way. Yeah. Which is why I feel like, I don't know. I almost think that like I offer compassion and empathy and understanding, and I don't always like get from point A to point B. Like I will if somebody asks, but a lot of times I feel like for me, when I'm processing something, like you just want to feel like heard. And like we overcomplicate it and think like, oh, they're like expecting something of me.
Yeah.
Instead of like, actually they just like love and trust me enough to like share their heart with me. But you sometimes feel like you're not giving them something unless you give them like a tool to come away with it.
Brady and I, and if you want to do this with me too, you totally can. He has to tell me if he's just looking to be heard or if he's looking for a solution. And we start conversations that way, because it used to kind of be a tension point where like, and he's the same way. He always tries to find a solution for me too, which might also be, I think that's like a heavy male trait, is like solution giver. But I'm also the same way. So like we always have to like say, I need to talk, but I'm not looking for a solution to my problem.
That's a really good thing. Yeah.
Because sometimes it can come off as dismissive. And as someone who's been on the other side of the same thing that I do, I can see why it can be dismissive. But like as somebody who also does it, it's not dismissive. It's like, let me fix the hurt for you.
I think it's like loving, because you're like, I don't want to see you like this. So how can I fix it?
Yeah.
And if you feel like you can fix it, then like, why would you not?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's funny.
Sorry. Anyways,
this is a very random episode. Thank you for tuning in. I know I'm like, I hope I don't just like dump on this whole podcast. But the good thing is you guys can just like not listen if you don't.
Also, if you are, well, wherever you're listening to this, could you please give us, if you're listening to it on podcasts, like Apple Podcasts or whatever, please leave us a review if you have not already. If you're listening to this on Spotify, please go and comment on the episode. Especially if you are listening to on YouTube right now, please listen. Please comment something related to this episode on our YouTube channel. I am trying to change the direction of our YouTube channel, and I'm trying to find more moms who need us and more people that we can help. And it's hard to do that when we're not reaching the right audience. So if you guys could just start a conversation or just comment on something we said when you watch this video or something that you liked, I would be so appreciative. So appreciative.
Oh, so I didn't know you could comment on Spotify.
That's new.
Somebody said, Jesse, I am she is me. Loved this episode as always.
Yeah. I always read those. They're always so sweet. I was trying to see.
I was like, wait, you can comment on here?
You can comment now. So comment, and especially on YouTube, please comment so that we can make some directional changes with our YouTube channel.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening, and remember that you were chosen to be the mother of your children.
And you are exactly where you need to be.
See you next week.